I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Donald Trump's lawyers are teaching a masterclass in what not to do as a lawyer and how to piss off your trial judge. Let me explain what just happened because Donald Trump's lawyers just keep stepping into it. Look, they're already pissing off Judge Lewis Kaplan, who is the federal judge presiding over E. Jean Carroll's civil rape and defamation case, which is set for trial on April 25th. And their most recent request sent by Joe Tacopina in a letter brief to Judge Lewis Kaplan was a request that Judge Kaplan inform the jury that if Donald Trump doesn't show up at trial, it is because Donald Trump is just so busy and he does not want to inconvenience or burden the city of New York with all of the Secret Service and security measures. And so please don't hold it against Donald Trump. I did a report on this letter written by Donald Trump's lawyer, Joe Tacopina, making this request to Judge Lewis Kaplan. And I also discussed the response by E. Jean Carroll's lawyer. And E. Jean Carroll's lawyer basically said, look, Donald Trump's out there at NRA conventions, at UFC fighting matches. He's set to be in New Hampshire the same week as this trial. So we think it's significantly important enough that if he wants to show up for his civil rape case, the case where he's being accused of rape and defamation, he can show up if he wants to. And just so you all know out there, in a civil case like this, a party's actually not required to show up. It's not like a criminal case where someone has to show up. But of course, usually what happens all the time is the parties show up to their trial because they don't want the jury to make an inference that, hey, this person isn't taking this matter seriously at all. And so we finally got the ruling by Judge Lewis Kaplan. And not only is Judge Lewis Kaplan rejecting what Donald Trump's lawyer requested the court read, but Judge Lewis Kaplan has now precluded Donald Trump's lawyers from making any statements to the jury about Donald Trump being too busy or trying to avoid causing any burdens to the city of New York. And so just think about what a bad legal maneuver this was by Donald Trump's lawyers. They filed a motion requesting the judge read an instruction to the jury that the jury be instructed that Donald Trump didn't want to inconvenience Manhattan, and that's why he is not going to be present at trial. Not only did the judge reject that, but the judge said, you know what? You, Donald Trump's lawyer, you are precluded from even saying what you want the court to say to the jury. You can't mention why Donald Trump is going to be absent. The jury's free to infer whatever it is they want to infer, but you can't say, oh, the reason he's not here is because he's a former president and he's just wants to save the city the inconvenience and burden and costs associated with it. And Judge Kaplan says, look, I think that the Secret Service will do just fine in dealing with this situation. So thank you for worrying about the inconvenience to the court, but I'm not inconvenienced at all. This is what the court wrote in its order. Mr. Trump's lead counsel expresses Mr. Trump's alleged desire to testify at trial, but seeks an order from the court excusing his presence unless either party calls him as a witness and, in the event he does not testify, instructing the jury that his, quote, absence by design avoids the logistical burdens that his presence as the former president would cause the courthouse and New York City. First, the court neither excuses nor declines to excuse Mr. Trump from attending the trial or from testifying in this case. As far as the court is aware, Mr. Trump is under no legal obligation to be present or to testify. The plaintiff has made clear that she does not intend to call him as a witness. The decision whether to attend or to testify is his alone to make. There is nothing for the court to excuse. I'm going to read more of the letter right there, but I want to just pause right there. I'm going to explain in a little bit the strategy, though, why E. Jean Carroll's lawyer has told the court that plaintiff does not intend to call Donald Trump to testify in their case in chief. I'm going to explain to you that in a little bit if you're confused about that. Second, I'm reading from the letter again. Second, the court notes but does not accept Mr. Trump's counsel's claims concerning the alleged burden on the courthouse or the city were Mr. Trump to attend or testify. Mr. Trump is entitled by law to the protection of the United States Secret Service, which he now has enjoyed as a former president for more than 2 years. He has a right to testify in this case. As it would for any person with business before the court will do everything within its power to enable Mr. Trump to exercise that right. Moreover, it is entirely confident that the United States Marshal Service and the City of New York will do their parts in securing that right for Mr. Trump, just as they repeatedly have done in other cases involving security concerns. Moreover, the court notes from Mr. Trump's campaign website and media reports that he announced earlier this week he will speak at a campaign event in New Hampshire on April 27, 2023, the third day of the scheduled trial in this case. If a Secret Service can protect him at that event, certainly the Secret Service, the Marshal Service, and the City of New York can see to his security in this very secure federal courthouse. Finally, Mr. Trump has been on notice of the April 25 trial date in this case since on or about February 7th, 2023. There has been quite ample time within which to make whatever logistical arrangements should be made for his attendance, and certainly quite a bit more time than the 5 or 6 days between his recent indictment on state criminal charges and his arraignment on that indictment approximately 1 block from the location of the trial of this case. The question of the requested jury instruction is premature. Mr. Trump is free to attend, to testify, or both. He is free also to do none of those things. Should he elect not to appear or testify, his counsel may renew the request. In the meantime, there shall be no reference by counsel for Mr. Trump in the presence of the jury panel or the trial jury to Mr. Trump's alleged desire to testify or to the burdens that any absence on his part allegedly might spare or might have spared the court or the city of New York. Signed, Federal United States District Judge Louis A. Kaplan, April 20th, 2023.
Now let's take a quick break to talk about our next partner, Mosh. As the years progress, it's so important to stay on top of your mental health and fitness. Frankly, life, it gets busy, and sometimes you end up sacrificing good foods and snacks for unhealthy ones strictly because they may seem more convenient. Now, whether at the gym, on the go, or between meals with the fam, Mosh protein bars are the smart snack to keep your brain and body fit, fueled, and feeling good. With 6 delicious flavors, each Mosh bar comes packed with 12 grams of protein and made with ingredients that support brain health like ashwagandha, lion's mane, collagen, and omega-3s. At 160 calories and only 1 gram of sugar, Mosh protein bars are the guilt-free snack your brain and body will crave. Your brain, it's your number one tool, which is why Mosh protein bars were mindfully formulated by some of the world's top neuroscientists and functional nutritionists. Founded by Patrick Schwarzenegger and Maria Shriver, Mosh is a mission-driven brain health and wellness company that donates a portion of all proceeds to support women's brain research through the Women's Alzheimer's Movement at Cleveland Clinic. I absolutely love Mosh protein bars. They're delicious, they're savory, they're the perfect smart snack to keep your brain and body fit, fueled, and feeling good. We're constantly doing different videos or podcasts here or just a bunch of different tasks. So I'm able to enjoy Mosh protein bars easily and enjoyably throughout the day whenever I need it. Don't settle with a mediocre snack when you can nourish your body and mind with the fuel it needs to succeed. So whether you're at the gym, on the go, or just living your best life, Mosh protein bars will keep your brain and body fit, fueled, and feeling good. Head to moshlife.com/Meidas to save 20% off plus free shipping on your first 6-count trial pack. That's 20% off plus free shipping on your first 6-count trial pack, which includes all 6 mouth-watering flavors. moshlife.com/Meidas.
So that is a judicial smackdown right there. And you see at the end, the judge instructing Trump's lawyer that Trump's lawyer shall not instruct the prospective jurors and the jurors about Donald Trump's alleged desire not to show up because of the burdens he believes would be imposed on Manhattan. So again, not only did Takapina, Trump's lawyer, lose the request that the judge issue the instruction, now the judge ruled that Takapina can't even tell the jury what he wanted the judge to tell the jury, which if Takapina did not make this motion, I'm sure he could have went to the jury, and said that, because you can't unring the bell. Once you say it, the jury already would have heard it. So I want to go back to the one point in the letter, though, because you may be saying, why is it that E. Jean Carroll's lawyer is not calling Donald Trump to testify? Of course we want Donald Trump to testify. What's going on there? No, it is a brilliant strategy, and let me tell you why. So E. Jean Carroll's lawyers have already taken a full day deposition of Donald Trump, and E. Jean Carroll's lawyers feel very strongly that they have enough testimony from Donald Trump in that deposition for them to win this case alone, or for them to just get past what's called a non-suit. So after plaintiff rests their case, the defendants will usually file what's called a motion for non-suit, which is basically a motion to dismiss during trial, mid-trial, after the plaintiff presents all of their evidence. And so what's going to happen in the plaintiff's case in chief is the plaintiffs will call the other victims who Donald Trump has sexually assaulted. And there are two women specifically that they are going to call. They're then going to play the audio tapes of the Access Hollywood, where Donald Trump brags about sexually assaulting women. They're going to call E. Jean Carroll as a witness, and then they're going to play Donald Trump's deposition, and maybe they have an expert, but I'm not even sure they go there. They play Donald Trump's deposition testimony essentially in full to the jury, and the jury will get to watch it on a videotape. Okay, so by not calling Donald Trump as a witness, now you shift the burden after you get past a motion for non-suit, because I certainly believe that the plaintiffs will have enough evidence so that this case is not going to get dismissed. I can say with almost 100% certainty. You never know what happens at a trial, but I'll say with 100% certainty. So then now, who does Donald Trump's lawyers call? Who do they call as their witnesses? Now the burden's on them. So it's not that E. Jean Carroll's lawyers do not want to call Trump as a witness at all. The brilliant strategy here, and this is where strategizing as a lawyer makes a big difference in trial, and why having a good lawyer is so important. So who does Donald Trump call in Trump's case? You have to call Donald Trump. Who else is going to be a witness that Joe Takapina or Alina Habba would call? So you have to call Donald Trump. And then what you have to do when you call Donald Trump is that would be direct testimony. So you would take direct testimony from Donald Trump. Donald Trump's lawyers would. And then E. Jean Carroll's lawyer would get to cross-examine Donald Trump. And that cross-examination will then show all of the ways that Donald Trump lied during his direct testimony. So that's one scenario that plays out. The other scenario that plays out is Takapina and Habba don't call Donald Trump. They don't even call the person being accused, right? You can see that happening where Donald Trump doesn't even want to show up to testify. And now E. Jean Carroll's lawyers have already shown the deposition tape, so they don't even need Donald Trump there. So then what happens during the closing argument? E. Jean Carroll's lawyers say, look, we put forward E. Jean Carroll, we put forward our, other women who have been sexually assaulted by Donald Trump in the same way. You've heard the Access Hollywood tapes. You've seen Donald Trump's deposition, and we put on our case. One of the jury instructions, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, is whether a party had the opportunity to put witnesses on the stand and decided not to present to you the best evidence they could. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Donald Trump's lawyer in a rape case, in a defamation case, they did not call Donald Trump as a witness. He didn't show up. He refused to testify. That's how seriously he takes this case. That's what you would say to the jury. And essentially the defense would put on no one to rebut the witnesses by E. Jean Carroll's lawyers. So again, it's not that E. Jean Carroll's lawyers do not want to get Trump's testimony, and they have the deposition tape. They're going to play that. They want to bait Donald Trump's lawyers to have to call Donald Trump as a witness in the defense case to then cross-examine Donald Trump. And if the defense doesn't call him, to point that out to the jury. That's the strategy right there. And frankly, I think it's a brilliant strategy. Thanks for watching this video. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 1.5 million subscribers thanks to your incredible support. So please hit subscribe right now. Check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch, patreon.com/MeidasTouch, patreon.com/MeidasTouch. And also, wherever you get your podcast, search the MeidasTouch podcast. All right, now hit subscribe on this YouTube channel. It's free. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Ben Meiselas. Have a great day.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram at MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.